listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. This is your host, Tim Link, and I'm so glad you're joining us today. My special guest today is renowned women's fiction author Beth Kendrick. And we're going to be talking to Beth about her latest book, The Lucky Dog Matchmaking Service. So we're going to be excited about that and find out what those furry animals have to do with matchmaking. So we're going to go to a commercial break briefly, and we'll come back with Beth Kendrick to talk about the Lucky Dog Matchmaking Service. You're listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Petco, where the pets go. Petco, where the pets go.
Pet Life Radio has tail-wagging, fur-flying, fabulous deals for our listeners from Petco. Get $6 off your order of $60 or more and up to 40% off the entire Petco site. That's right. But that's not all. Because you're a Pet Life Radio listener, you'll also get free shipping on your order of $49 or more. $6 off, up to 40% off, and free shipping from Pet Life Radio and Petco. To get these awesome deals, go to PetcoDeals.com. That's PetcoDeals.com.
Petco, where the pets go.
I'm not much of a reader, but I do wish I were more well-read.
There are so many great books coming out. I wish I could find a way to keep up.
Audible.com makes it easy to stay well informed and catch up on your reading simply by listening. Audiobooks from Audible turn downtime into uptime. You'll be more productive and become well-read.
Now I'm able to catch up on all the great books I've been wanting to read.
With Audible, I feel smarter.
Pet Life Radio listeners, try Audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listener Gold membership plan free. And get a free audiobook. Choose from over 100,000 titles. To get this great deal, go to audibledeals.com. That's audibledeals.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. This is your host, Tim Link, and joining me now is author Beth Kendrick. Beth, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
It's definitely our pleasure, and congratulations on your latest book, The Lucky Dog Matchmaking Service.
Thank you. It just came out, and it's actually one of my favorite covers. We put a little ragtag group of dogs on the front, and it's super cute.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's a great cover, eye-catching cover. I love the colors. It's a dogs in sort of a store or window display or a little apartment, but it has the yellow and white awning, which definitely catches your eye. So big kudos on the cover.
You know, it's funny. One of the things I always get asked from authors how much input I have in the cover. And usually they ask, the editorial team will ask for ideas. But in this case, there was a Bernese mountain dog in the book. But the dog on the cover is a Greater Swiss mountain dog. I told my editor, I said, I shall hear of this. Because, dog lovers know their breeds. But it's a Greater Swiss. It's supposed to be a Berner. I know the difference. But, it's artistic license.
Yeah. The cover is definitely, when it's sitting on the shelf, you got to have a catchy title because that's what they're going to see on the binding. And then when they pull off the shelf, there's got to be something that catches their eye, catches their attention. And you've got, as you said, a ragtag group of dogs on the cover. And I'm sure there are people out there who say, oh, that looks just like my dog.
Yes. Yes. There's a little Scruffy Terrier, which was my first rescue dog. And I know there's a lot of cute little Scruffy Terriers out there.
Oh, yes, definitely so.
Dominating the world.
Tell our listeners a little bit about the Lucky Dog Matchmaking Service.
Basically, the Lucky Dog Matchmaking Service, it's sort of my love letter to bad dogs and the women who love them. It's a book about a rescue dog volunteer. Her name is Laura, and she has a special gift. She can basically match you up with your soulmate, but your canine soulmate instead of your human soulmate. She just has a knack for feeling out that chemistry between owner and pet and looking beyond the surface of what people say they want, what they think they want, and to find what they actually need in a dog. And sort of the underlying message is about really what purpose our dogs serve in our life. They're more than a companion. They're kind of a lifeline through emotional and transitions in our life. And so it was a really special book for me. I've had rescue dogs, and they're very special to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the ironic thing I found from the book is the fact that Laura does such a great job of matching people with their furry friends, with the right and perfect dog for them. But she has a little bit of challenges in matching up everything else in her own life, doesn't she?
She does, and as committed as she is to her dogs and as devoted as she is to them, she finds it hard to believe that she herself is worthy of the same devotion. It was funny, I when I was writing the first draft of this book, I did talk to a lot of trainers and show handlers and rescue volunteers, and all of the women, it was very interesting, were saying they have dating troubles because, that's because of their commitment to the dog, whether it's the expense that they have on the constant vet bills, or, the guy that they're dating doesn't want to share the bed with the dog, or the fur, or the allergies. They all universally said there's always something. And so I thought that would be a fun aspect of the story, to put in the human dating problems you have when you're a dog worker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that from working with my clients who obviously have all sorts of different animals, including dogs, I think the ones that have the most successful relationships are the ones that make it very clear that their furry, feathered, and finned friends are probably going to come first before the new guy finds his spot in the house, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you do. You'd have to be clear up front. And the priorities, I think that's the problem when you're trying to rearrange your priorities after the fact, after someone new comes into your life. And so, and that's the thing, though, is dog rescue volunteers are very dedicated to their animals, both the fosters and their permanent pets. And, you can't compromise. So that's the key, is finding the human that matches with you the same way that your pets do.
Absolutely. Now, tell us a little bit about writing this particular book. What was your motivation behind that? Because you've had a series of successful books, and they're not always animal related, correct?
They're not animal related, but many of them do have an animal character. And when I first moved to Phoenix, I had a rescue dog. His name was Murphy, and he was just one of those. He looked like a little blonde Benji, and he was very cute. And when I adopted him, I had no idea. He had a shattered pelvis. They think he had been hit by a car before he had joined the rescue group. And he had hidden it. He disguised it, and there was never a trace of a limp. Finally, the vet discovered it when he went for his well check. And, but he was funny because he did disguise it, and he was so tough. But when there was a stranger who was oohing and ahhing over how cute he was, he would start limping around pathetically with these sad, sad puppy eyes, and they would give him food. And then he would just strut on his way. And there was something about that. He was such a little punk. And there was something about that personality and that I just said, I could do a whole book with just dog characters. And they really did take over the book. And even the reviewers have commented on how the dogs have their own rich identities in this book. They really are part of the story. So, yeah, I sort of wanted to let that shine. And it was fun because I do have a Facebook group. And there are so many dogs in the story, I would ask my Facebook fans to nominate their dogs for cameos or to name dogs in the story. And it was just a fun collaborative effort with all the dog lovers out there.
Absolutely. And your Facebook location is under your name or the Lucky Dog?
It's facebook.com/Beth Kendrick Books.
There you go. So
you can also find it through my website, which is bethkendrick.com. There's a link.
Great. So go to bethkendrick.com to learn more about Beth and her other books, as well as get brushed up on the Lucky Dog Matchmaking Service. And make sure you join her up on Facebook so you can tell her all about your wonderful animals as well. We talked about, Beth, we talked a little bit about Laura, the main human character in the book. Pick one of your other favorite characters after writing one of the favorite furry characters in the book and tell us a little bit about them.
Well, probably there's a mastiff in this book named Titus, who ends up finding a family after he crashes a preschooler's birthday party. They're giant dogs, and he goes galumphing to the bounce house. Toddlers are flying everywhere. It's mass hysteria. But he loves children, and so they end up, he kind of spooks the pony at the birthday party. So what they end up doing is sort of saddling up the mastiff, and the kids are riding him, and they love it. And that was a fun scene to write. There's also a border collie mix in this book, and this was actually one of my Facebook fans' contributions. She said she had a border collie beagle mix, and they called it a Bigali. It was their little hybrid, their cute little, hybrid name. And, border collies are so smart. That's really, I think, where a lot of their behavior issues come in. They sort of outsmart the people they're living with. They always need a job. And so what Laura did with that particular dog was try to get it focused and get some of the energy out by trying to do some dock diving. Are you familiar with the doggy dock diving sport?
Sure, but tell our listeners a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so there's an organization called Splash Dogs. And it's very fun. It's basically a long platform. The dogs are trained to run down them and then jump into a long pool after a toy. And it's very athletic. It's very fun. And it's something that you don't need to be a professional trainer to get your dog to do. And so Laura, the character in the book, she gets the whole family involved in training this dog to do dog diving. And so it's fun for the dog, and it's also a bonding activity for the family. And it really pulls the whole little community together. And that was a really fun. The golly of, Border Collies have such a little personality with an edge to it. So it was fun.
All animals have to have, like you said, jobs to do and have to keep mentally as well as physically stimulated. But Border Collie probably steps that up one more notch.
Oh, yes.
Just like hybrid cars, you have hybrid dogs, right?
Yes, exactly. It's fun to think of the little names for that instead of like the Puggle. It's like the Bigali or, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Beth, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, but I want to talk to you a little bit more about your book, The Lucky Dog Matchmaking Service. So everybody hang tight, and we'll continue our conversation with Beth Kendrick right after these messages from our sponsors. You're listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Dyson. The new Dyson Animal Vacs are powerful bagless upright vacuums for homes with pets. Air muscle and radio root cyclone technology generates the strongest suction power to powerfully remove dust, dirt, and pet hair from the home or car. To order your Dyson Animal Vac, go to DysonDeals.com. DysonDeals.com to order your Dyson Animal Vac today.
Dyson. Music to your ears.
I don't make any decisions about who to hire without going to Angie's List first.
You'll find reviews on home repair to healthcare, written by people just like you.
With Angie's List, I know who to call, and I know the results will be fantastic.
Angie's List, which you can trust.
Go to angieslist.com/rights and get 25% off any subscription. That's angieslist.com/rights, WRITES.
Love your pets but wish their medications were a lot less expensive? They are at 1-800-PET-MEDS. You'll not only save on flea and heartworm medications, but on prescriptions for arthritis, incontinence, thyroid, and more. And you get fast service, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, our licensed pharmacists ensure accuracy, monitor drug interaction, and more. See why over 5 million people have trusted their pets' health to 1-800-PET-MEDS, America's largest pet pharmacy. Call now or order online.
Go to petmeds.com/lucky, LUCKY, to get 10% off any order and free shipping on orders of $39 or more at petmeds.com.
This year, Americans are expected to spend a jaw-dropping $36 billion on their pets. From lighted leashes to high-end spa products, the discriminating pet owner can find just about anything to pamper his or her pet. Hi, this is Michelle Fern. Join me every week for Best Bets for Pets, where we'll talk about the latest pet products and talk to the companies that make them. Best Bets for Pets, every week, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. This is your host, Tim Link. I've got author Beth Kendrick here talking to us a little bit about her latest book, The Lucky Dog Matchmaking Service. Now, Beth, I had to put you on the spot. You have multiple books out there, world-renowned here, women's fiction author. Tell us a little bit about what you learned from writing this book and maybe compare it to some of your other writings. Is there a unique thing that you learned from writing this one?
Well, this one, again, I learned a ton about dogs. My own dogs are better behaved, and now that I have written this book. This book also, there's a subplot about the main character and her mother. It was an interesting sort of exploration about basically fixing and progressing with human relationships within the context of all the animal stories happening. I think one of the other very successful books I've written is called Nearlyweds. And interestingly, it also has a dog on the cover. There's a big black rescue dog in that book. It's like a Rottweiler Newfoundland mix. And that was a book about 3 women who are having difficulty during the first year of their marriage. They're all having, in-law problems or spouse problems or career problems. And basically, again, there's a theme of sort of how the dog is a catalyst for change for them and helps them find the next step on their journey. So you can see, yes, the animals pop up again and again. They're community books. A lot of women friendship, women relationships, sisters, mothers, that sort of thing. And I do learn so much with every book. With this book, one of the trainers I talked to let me go with her to a couple of confirmation shows, which are, the beauty pageant, the dog beauty pageant.
Right.
And I just sort of sat ringside all morning. I was actually watching the Bernese Mountain Dog competitions. And people were so friendly and helpful, and they told me all kinds of stories. It let me put in those little details that you would never get otherwise, such as using black Vaseline on dogs' nose before they go into the show ring. And I guess it makes their nose look shiny and sparkly, and technically you're not supposed to do it, but everybody does. And I guess that's a trick from horse shows. And of course, it's all very girly things. And somebody said, if you have a Bernese Mountain Dog, which is a dark black dog, and it's got a great top line, which is sort of the spine, and you want to show it off, you'd wear light-colored skirts so that you could see the contrast. And if it's got not so great a top line, you'd want to wear dark-colored skirts to try to disguise that. So research is always really fun. Every single book, I've done baking books. I've gotten to go to bake-offs and take pastry classes. It's always learning something new, and it's been very fun.
Now, how do you get your motivation? Do you have a whole slew of ideas and not enough lifetime to write them? Or is it more of somebody approaches you with something or your editors approach you with an idea? How do you come up with your inspirations for your books?
Where I get my ideas, I do know authors who have millions upon millions of ideas and will just never have enough time to write. I always think of my inspiration process as like a gumball machine. You put in your quarter and you turn the crank and I get one at a time. They're up there somewhere, but I cannot access them all. I get sequential ideas. And it's usually when I'm at the end of a book and I'm starting to panic and think, this is it. I'm out of ideas. I've got nothing. I'll be writing the last 50 pages of a book, and I'll have an idea for the next one. So true to form, at the end of Lucky Dog, and I was working on the last 2 chapters, and I started having ideas for the next one. So Lucky Dog, I actually had the idea when I was doing edits for my previous book, which is called The Bake Off. It's a baking book, has nothing to do with dogs, but there's a dog in it, a very smart Irish Terrier. In the revisions, I was fleshing out the Irish Terrier and working on that. And I said, I could probably do a whole book just about, sassy dogs and their personality. And thus, Lucky Dog was born. So, yeah, for me, it's one at a time.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, then when you're talking about how you go about writing and scheduling your time, obviously, I talk to a lot of different authors, and some are very dedicated. 9 to 11 o'clock every day is when they write. Other ones are whenever the deadline is, they get the book done. How does your process work?
My process, pretty much, I'm very lucky. I work at home, but I'm also a single parent to a small child. So I work when my child is in preschool. I work after he goes to bed. And, I just have no life, basically. And that's how it works now. I try to do a page count every day. I try to do 5 to 7 pages. And I was recently at a conference, and somebody asked me, how do you balance, raising a child and work and everything else you have to do? And my advice to people is always just, you have to lower your housekeeping standards and live with it. And then when you think they're low enough, sometimes you still have to take them down a few more notches. But you make it work. If you really wanted to do this, if you really want to write, you find the time, you make it work.
Yeah, you do. I don't know. For me, at least, it's more of maybe it's procrastination. I'm not sure. But I do better when I have a lot more on my plate. When things are slowing down, that's the time I really should be writing. But that's not the time I really typically write. It's usually when there's 1,000 things going on.
I would agree. There's some incentive to the time pressure, and there's nothing like having a contract with a deadline to light that fire under you. So, yeah, it's very paradoxical how that works. Sometimes the more you have to do, the more you get done.
That's absolutely right. So from the book Lucky Dog, I'll put you on the spot. After our readers pick up a copy and read The Lucky Dog, what is the one thing you want them to walk away from after reading the book?
I think really this is, at the end of the day, a book about being true to yourself and not compromising your values for anyone else. The main character in this book has felt like by following her heart and doing all this rescue dog work, she's let down a lot of people in her life. She's let down her mother, who really wanted her to be a high-powered Shark Tank entrepreneur. She's let down her boyfriend who wants her to focus on having a more structured and, traditional domestic life. But she has, this is a calling. It's not just a job for her. It's a calling. And it's also a service. It's a service to all the people who are benefiting from getting the new dogs into their lives. And so in the end, this is the right path for her, and staying true to what she believes in is the right thing for her. It ultimately works out.
There you go. And I think it's a good story on a good way to follow life in general, wouldn't you say?
Yes. There are many days when I feel like I should have done something practical, like become an insurance actuary or have like a more stable traditional job, but this is really what I was meant to do. And it will, it's like that saying, leap in and that will appear. Sometimes you just have to do your work, do your research, but at the end of the day, it's a leap of faith.
Yeah, and everything will take care of itself is what I find. If you don't worry about it, take that leap of faith, follow what you're supposed to be doing, and then let everything happen around you.
Exactly.
Good story. All right, so everybody pick up a copy of the book. The book, once again, written by Beth Kendrick. It's called The Lucky Dog Matchmaking Service. You can find it at all major bookstores, and obviously go to Beth's site, which is bethkendrick.com, and follow her on Beth Kendrick on Facebook, Beth Kendrick / Lucky Dog. Is that correct?
Beth Kendrick Books. Yep.
Beth Kendrick Books.
Yep.
I'll get this right. So follow her on Facebook as well, so keep up on what's going on. So Beth, congratulations once again on a fantastic book. We look forward to hearing from you more in the future, and have fun out there promoting the book.
I will. Thank you so much.
So we were talking to Beth Kendrick. Everybody pick up a copy of the book, The Lucky Dog Matchmaking Service. We're coming to the end of the show today, however, so I'd like to thank everyone for listening to the Animal Rights Show on Pet Life Radio. I also like to thank our sponsors and producers for making this show possible. To find out more about me, Tim Link, and the other guests I've interviewed on the Animal Rights Show, you can go to Pet Life Radio. That's PetLifeRadio.com. Click on the Animal Rights icon. Read the blogs, download all the episodes, and listen to your favorite authors. While you're there, make sure you check out all the other wonderful shows on Pet Life Radio, which is PetLifeRadio.com. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for the show, you can email me. Please email me at tim@petliferadio.com. It's tim@petliferadio.com, and I'll do my best to answer your questions, entertain your comments, and try to bring the authors you want to hear most onto the show. So until next time, write a great story about the animals in your life. Share it in a blog, article, or in a book. And who knows, you may be the next guest on Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Have a great day.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.